I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their girls with the nails done now.
Oh, it's just us two. I'll bring these people in as well.
I can't do all of this. I can't go Duncan alone.
Yeah, I do need carried. Okay. Third stream of the flipping day. What the hell is going on here? Yeah.
It's like, about 4 hours. Come on, guys.
What else have you got to do, Duncan? Come on.
I know.
So much to do, huh?
So much to do and so little time and all this sort of carry on. I was looking forward to playing some more games because I've been, me and Callie have been playing a load of games over the last wee while, and it's this is just going absolutely. And not just Fortnite, we've been venturing out to other games as well. So I will get this up here first, which is what we're here to talk about, and this is the news, which, it worked. Stadia's leadership praised development studios for great progress just 1 week before laying them all off. This is Sammy, you said for me because I butchered it there. Which?
Kotaku.
There we go. I cannot say that for the life of me. So Sammy is with us. We have Kelly with us, and we've got Happy Clyde Gamer. And I'm hoping he's going to stay happy after all this talk. Here, we're going to go through.
I'm not sure.
I'm laughing at Duncan. I'm also laughing at Dan X2I's comment in chat. I think that sums up a lot of people tuning into a stream like this.
That's not for anyone, popcorn.
Okay, I'll go get popcorn. You talk and I'll go get the popcorn.
No, you don't get the popcorn. I want the popcorn because you just eat it.
Yes. Okay, first of all, if you haven't read the article, I'm hoping this will come through in the chat. Go read the article.
There is also a link in the description of the video now.
Sorry. Yes. Okay, basically, what has happened is the developers from Stadia Games and Entertainment have started talking to people. I am expecting this to be the first of many articles to come out over the next couple of weeks. So here we go here. Do you want me to read it all out here? Developers at Google's recently formed games and studios were shocked February the 1st when they were notified that the studios would be shut down, according to 4 sources with knowledge of what transpired. Just a week prior, Google Stadia Vice President and General Manager Big Phil himself, Big Phil Harrison, sent an email to staff noting the great progress its studios had made so far. Mass layoffs were announced a few days later as part of the apparent pattern of Stadia leadership not being honest up front with the company's developers, many of which have upended their lives and careers to join the team. I'm not laughing about that. I'm just laughing at this as a complete hit piece. I think we'll all be honest in this. This is a hit piece towards Stadia, but with reasons. Okay.
Yeah, we do have reasons to believe these sources are accurate.
Yes, we do have. We are led to believe this as well. I'm not going into the reasons for that.
No, I was very
you're very diplomatic with that. basically, there's a couple of key things here. Sammy, I know you've picked up a couple of the ones you really want to highlight here.
I think the biggest one for me, the article basically boils down into what is typical in most jobs, really, a lack of communication between management and the employees, the rank and file. There's a paragraph, I think you've got it there. It starts up developers had to wait 3 days, but it goes on in that paragraph. Let's just read it. 3 days after receiving the news to directly share their confusion and frustration with Harrison in a second conference call on 4th of February. It's obviously a very heated debate between management and the workers after finding out, not in the greatest way for a press release available to the world, that they were losing their jobs. And they were asking about the previous lauding and praise that they were getting in emails, and said, why are you praising us? And then all of a sudden we're laid off. And Harrison eventually admits that they knew, even when they sent the email praising everyone, that this news was coming down the line. But it wasn't communicated out to them. It is a very, very distressing time.
Yes, I'll come to the bit more. I was feeling very focal on, and I will continue to be focal on. But Kelly, what is your take on this? This is going to be interesting.
What do you mean, what's my take on it?
What do you think of this article? Come on, have an opinion. Go on.
I don't see the point of it.
Point of what?
Of this article. Because if it was like some weeks ago, then what's the point of it?
The reason for this article coming out now is that the staff who were working in Stadia Games and Entertainment have just started talking to the press, and they've just been gathering up all their different sources. So this is the reason why it's coming out now, is because they've just got all their sources together. Again, at the top of this article here, this is not a single source. This is 4 sources have said to this. So this is not, again, I made this point and Sammy was making fun of me when I made this point earlier. This is more than one person. So this is just it's just standard practice. To release something like this, you need to have basically multiple sources for it to carry weight. And they're saying that they've got 4 sources of this. Sorry, Kelly, back to you.
No, go to somebody else, because like I will say something later.
Okay, happy.
No, I think there was not the best way to go with it, but this is a practice all around in many companies. I've been working in a company. I got less time to get fired. So, but it is not good at all. It is not good at all when it comes out like this. Definitely not. I believe, yeah.
Yeah, my big takeaway for this one is, I'm just coming down to it, is this comment here. In his Tuesday's Q&A with staff, he pointed specifically to Microsoft buying spree and planned acquisition of Bethesda software later this year as one of the factors that had made Google decide to close the book on original game development. Google, or we don't need the next bit here.
Not really, no.
No.
That sums it up. I deliberately left that paragraph for you, but yeah.
Yeah. For me, this is just outrageous. Basically, this is just them saying, oh my God, that Microsoft are buying people up here. And this is them going, competition. Oh my God, we've actually got big competition here, and they're scared of it. I know some people have read into this, which they're quite rightly to read in. I think it's actually great we can bring this up, that this means that Google is possibly going to be looking to buy studios instead of trying to build them up from ground zero. I just do not think that is the case.
Didn't do that with Typhoon.
Yes, exactly. For me, this is if they were going to continue that, Stadia Games and Entertainment would continue to exist. This is them going, oh my god, this is going to cost us how much to get into gaming? And I think they're just absolutely scared. I think the word has got back to Google. I think it's very important for us to actually take away. There's two different entities involved here. There is Stadia, or just making sure I'm in the camera. There's Stadia over here, and there's Google over here. But Google is the one controlling all the money. I am not actually.
Google writes for checks. Google signs them, and I've set my Google Home device off.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Google have just seen they're paying them how much, and they've went, oh, we're not getting into this at all. Again, I am.
We've talked about the numbers. We did that in one of our streams earlier today. I can't remember saying that. But we talked about Amazon spending $500 million a year on their game studios. We talked about, we mentioned it even tonight, about Microsoft buying Bethesda for $7.5 billion. I said this earlier, it's these companies, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, they've got a big size for gaming pie because they've been there for 20. Microsoft have been there 20 years. They're the smallest of the three, or the smallest in terms of amount of time. And they've spent 20 years. They've learned the industry. They've built up their share to the point where they can spend $7.5 billion. Google have come in wanting a slice of that pie. I'm going to mute my Google Home device.
Okay, Google.
I've muted it. It's too bad. I've got headphones on. You're coming through my headphones. It's when I say Google, but it sets it off. It's listening to me. Perhaps they'd listen to my criticism of Stadia. What was it? Google have. That's quite right, Gandalf. Google have wanted a big slice of this pie, this gaming industry pie, but they've not wanted to put the money in. And what worries me about that is you look at these other industries. You think Amazon, we know, are in there trying to get their foot in the door. Apple have been rumored. Netflix, Facebook, we know have cloud gaming, sort of. How many of those companies will put the amount of money that's actually required in to get to the level of Microsoft in the year 2040? Because they won't get there in 2023.
Did you guys remember the first time they were on stage when the big man from Google came out and he had to put out Phil Harrison to talk about game because he didn't know anything about it? So that's how much they were planned in that industry. They didn't know anything about it. The Google people.
To be fair, he said he played FIFA.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they're panicking and they're just going to focus on the tech, but who's going to pick up and use Stadia tech?
Microsoft.
Believe it or not, that is actually not as daft as you think there. That's actually a common sort of practice where the bigger sort of or other people in the same sort of field come and take all the patents and stuff. Like you could see Microsoft or Amazon come in and go, I'm going to buy that, and they could.
Yeah.
That is something. There was something in the chat I was going to come to here, but there's just so much to actually take away from this. It's just maddening. We had a question in the chat. What is the difference between this and a couple of weeks ago? The difference is we found out the night before, or like the week before, Stadia was out there praising Stadia Games and Entertainment for the work they were doing, and then a week later, bang, you're gone. Awful to say that. Bang, you're away. And then you also have this other stuff. For me, the Bethesda thing for me is the paragraph that I just keep on going back to. And for me, it's just absolutely scary. I can see where people can see the positive spin on that, but I just can't see that. Why would you shut your first party studio to go buy other studios? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know we've had a lot of talk about that Stadia will go out and actually buy exclusives. We mentioned this on our first stream of the night.
Ages and ages ago.
Ages and ages. Oh, Charles, thank you for saying that. That is what I'm going to come to. Thank you for that.
Yes. Yeah.
But who is if Google is cutting their budget anyway, or we don't know anything about this, what's going on behind the scenes, but it not if they have sold off and they're not having any company to make their games, but who's to say they get more money after that? We don't know. And yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen with budgets. So.
Sorry, I've just noticed, and I'm shocked that I'm the only person that's noticed this so far, but has anyone seen the advert on the article?
Oh. It's an advertising Stadia. Charles's point here with the Outriders news. This. I made a tweet. I make lots of tweets, obviously, because I'm just an absolute rocket. I made a tweet last week, and I was just hoping Stadia would become boring. Stadia just needs to become boring. And this Outriders news tonight, well, was good. It was boring good. It was like, oh my god, this is coming. Anytime Google does something well, or Stadia does something well, there's a flipping slap coming about 2 seconds later. We've seen it with basically any of their big news things. There's always a kick somewhere else. It's just so frustrating, because we talked about the Outriders news earlier in the day, and we were saying there was something.
This is what they need.
Yes, it's what they need. I was wanting maybe a wee tweak here and there, saying they should have mentioned it was Stream Connect and there was cross-play on all the different platforms. But overall, it was really, really good. Yes, the final sentence as well was a killer.
No, that's how I think, Duncan, that's certainly how you've been feeling for a while. I was going to say reading between the lines, but I don't think it's been that subtle. But certainly for me, it's been similar. How do we trust that Stadia is? I don't want to say it, but you know.
I will say it. I'm quite vocal on where I think Stadia is going, Sammy. So you don't have to worry about that. I will. Put everything onto me. That's what I'm saying. I'm big enough and ugly enough to take any of the stuff that comes my way. I have said, and I've said this in multiple places, and I'm still sticking by this. I still fear that Stadia is going to go away. In 6 months' time, I am expecting a sort of statement saying Stadia is closing, moving into a different direction. The Stadia name now is toxic within the gaming community. So I just do not see how Stadia will recover. I think we're going to see it move into another sort of tech, maybe YouTube gaming is one, or the white labeling, which I think is nailed on to happen. I think that is where we're going to see Stadia go forward. But this news coming on the back of the Outriders news, which I know a number of people have actually said they have went out in pre-orders. Absolutely amazing for them. If you're backing it, fair play to you. But I wonder how many people are now regretting their pre-orders after seeing this news come out now.
Yeah.
But like, say that X21 or something.
That's Dan.
Well,
Dan.
that's what I meant earlier. As what's the point of the article when people could be telling lies because they were fired? Why would you put stuff out there?
Yes, yeah, you have to take this with a pinch of salt, which is absolutely correct, Kelly. They will be feeling hurt. They will be feeling anger about what has happened. So what you'll find is, like most things in life, it will be far too over on this side and too much, and then Google will be over here. So it'll be somewhere. It'll be somewhere in the middle, but it's still not great reading and how it was handled. I do believe that this email is real. The praising them the week before they're getting shut down, where things may be a bit more up in the air is what actually happened in the meeting. Okay, does anybody else want to?
I was also reading other stuff. Sorry,
I was just listening.
Okay, so what's the point of still doing them? What do you call them? The sales that they've been putting on.
I think they're just going through the motions at the moment.
Just to get as much money as possible.
Possibly, yes, just to see what they can do and see what sticks to the wall, and see if they can get any sort of traction. Jem, I agree with that. If they want to show some commitment, if they get out there and say we're expanding to India and Brazil, imminently or soon, and you knew what I meant. That would be a real big indication that they're probably going to stay about for a bit longer. But if Xbox gets out there, because they're already in talks with India, or not talks, they're in actually getting the infrastructure ready for xCloud in India. We do know that because there's a number of articles out there.
Yeah, and I believe, like you always said, Duncan, content is key, and IP is key. Good IPs is key. And that is what Microsoft is trying to get. And I think Netflix for games is maybe the best way for gaming for most mainstream gamers, kids, and yeah.
Yeah, there was about 150 people are impacted by this new change. Patrick, that's what that was saying there. But this is not good at all.
Sorry, reading Andy's comment.
Yeah. Yes, shall we start singing?
No, we get a copyright strike.
Yes. You said my singing that good, we'll get a copyright strike. That's fine. I can take it as a compliment.
Duncan, I did think we were going to get you singing on one of our streams.
Yes.
Supposed to give you a snack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let everyone else think about what that might be.
Distro doesn't think this is bad news. Yeah, I can see why you would think that as well. With it's just another thing. This is just repeating over what has happened before. But again, it's just again and again and again and again. I think the Stadia community as a whole is used to a lot of this bad news coming over and over and over and over again. Again, I think we need to be very clear in this, or I'm going to be very clear. I am not blaming anybody in Stadia. I know a lot of people are finger pointing at Phil Harrison. Yes, I think he's made a load of interesting decisions.
Yeah,
but he's not looking good right now.
He's not looking good, and
whether that's his fault or not, he's not looking good right now.
Yeah. Yes.
I said in chat. I said on previous stream. I think he'll be going.
No, he won't. We don't want him over. You don't want him anywhere in Cayman.
Well, if it was football, would the manager always go first if the team doesn't do well? So that's probably what's going to happen.
Too late for that.
Yeah,
has gone.
Okay, so we'll send them to Manchester United then. We can work with them.
Yes. or
Man City.
Or McLaren for Sammy. Are you a McLaren fan, Sammy?
I'm an F1 fan, but I get the Ferrari with the obvious one who've just rotated managers. Over the last 10 years, they've rotated managers almost multiple managers in a year.
Or the Cardiff Devils, we'll send them to there.
Yes, the Cardiff Devils, that'll be a good place for them.
That's a good place.
I've seen them play one match because I went to uni in Cardiff. That's about it.
Patrick, the answer to your question, it is unclear. They haven't been, we do not know how many people have actually been moved and how many people have been let go.
I don't think we'll ever know. But we know from these headlines, we know there's 150 people working at SG&E who have been affected by this. They won't be able to continue in the roles they were in.
Yeah. Again, this is just Stadia being Stadia.
I can't. It hurts, but I can't disagree with that. Yeah.
I think maybe it's more Google than Stadia because Stadia has a lot of good people working there, and they know the gaming community. I think Stadia is the most frustrated over the whole thing. That Google is not understanding what they need to get this working.
Yeah, it was these sort of statements as well, which actually brought in a lot of hype for Stadia's first party situation. Yes, they made this claim that you can make a World of Warcraft game with 14 people using the tech they had. Yes, I think the tech is really, really good. By the signs of things,
Is it time to throw it in the bin?
Don't make jokes about throwing things in the bin.
But everybody could get their Google stuff and then just chuck it all in the bin.
No,
that
doesn't go down well.
Daryl, yes, they are releasing some first-party games as well. Do not be expecting the next God of War. I would. The level of games I'm probably expecting is like the card game they showed off for the Project Chimera. Is that right? Situation. And that was where they could get things developed quickly. And also there was the Semantic ML, which was like that's what they were really touting for.
Yeah,
that's a machine
AI.
learning.
Yeah,
it's that's the one I think they were really pushing for. This 12 people can make World of Warcraft because it will learn all that. So it's not too bad. Darryl, we don't know what's caliber of games they're
it's been
releasing.
a long night, I understand.
Yes, it's I can't speak at the best of times, to be fair. However, what I would say, if they had extreme confidence of what games were coming out, if it was going to be on a AAA, absolutely amazing game, they would not have shut down Stadia Games and Entertainment. I'm thinking we're seeing a pretty low-level game, probably a tech demo, more an expanded tech demo would be my feeling of the game. I may be wrong, but that is just my general indication. What about you, Sammy? I can see you pondering.
I would hope it would be a good game, and one that we've always wanted a game that fully takes advantage of the tech behind Stadia, the stuff we see for Stream Connect and State Share. I would hope we see something that involves that. I don't know. I'm not an imaginative person. I can't conceive of that sort of thing. What I often said I really wanted to see was a real world driving game that uses they have all the images and data from street maps.
I'll give you to me if this is what you're sort of thinking. Microsoft Flight Simulator, but a driving game.
Basically, yeah.
But there's something I'm wondering about, and that's also something that we can consider. We have many good developers. They got in for the year and they shut it down. Who's to say the game was not good? And they used a lot of money on the wrong project. They can say they are doing the great gaming game. Sorry, my English is not great all the time, but great games. But it's low-end games that didn't work, and they have to shut them down.
Yeah, they could have been developing
Yeah.
I'm not saying similar to, but the same quality as what we ended up with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Um,
And it could be, and it has cost a lot of money to make games. And they just want to make their own studios, and they could have used that money to go out and buy exclusive games. But this was not. I don't. Sorry, I just think this was not planned good enough. The whole situation with Stadia. And they were forced. They were forced to go out because they saw the other companies coming with cloud gaming, and if they had to do something, they had to jump in 2019. And I think they were not ready at all.
I'm going back to one of my old expressions I have used. Google has deep pockets, but short arms for Stadia. I think that is what it has come down to. I know there has been a lot of talk over the last number of weeks about Amazon and them spending an absolute fortune, eye-watering amount of money, $500 million a year trying to get into the gaming industry. But that is what the sort of funds you need to do to get in there.
Yeah.
So I would just want to go around the table here and give the last thoughts on this, but and I will leave me to the end. Happy, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm not so happy now. So it's no, it doesn't look good for Stadia. Of course, I try to be positive around Stadia, but we all have to stick the finger in the ground and see there is something wrong with the whole situation. It doesn't look good at all. But have to wait out and see what the next thing happens with Stadia, and then maybe see what's going on.
Kelly,
Well,
we're going to wake you up.
I'm hoping Stadia will come out and say something, and all the people that were affected, they can go and work for Luna.
Don't be surprised if that happens. Sammy.
We said it before, Stadia just needs to have a boring, a simple week. Google have obviously overstretched and are paying the price for it. The article itself sounds very much like a standard spat between management and the rank and file. Trust me, I know about that right now. But it's not good news, and again, the timing of it, particularly after we were all singing Google's praises a little bit after the Outriders news. It's never. We're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, really, aren't we?
Mm.
And Duncan's making waves.
No, roller coaster.
I knew it was a roller coaster. I just thought, what else can I say?
Yeah.
Do you know what you have to learn? Not to say anything good about Stadia. Every time you say something good, something bad happens.
Do you think Google should pick that up?
Yes. I think they should pay us millions to just not say anything good about Stadia.
That was very cleverly worded, Duncan.
So my take on this, boys and girls, this is only the start. You're going to hear worse things coming out in the next couple of weeks. I can nearly guarantee it. Unfortunately, this is just the appetizer, as I said before. I truly believe there is more interesting stuff to come out, and this will not be the last Kotaku piece. Did I say it right? We'll say yes.
Kotaku, yeah. Sorry, I was busy.
But don't worry.
It's okay.
Happy's realised.
Oh no, I'm getting trolled somewhere. I know I'm getting trolled somewhere.
I didn't think you could do it. I genuinely didn't think you could do it.
I'm all confused. I'm worried now. Oh no.
Oh, it's fine. Let's just keep them.
But maybe there's my point now.
So easily distracted.
Gandara, the reason I think they didn't leave it or didn't release it earlier or later is because it didn't have the sources, and also they were probably waiting for the right time to do it as well. So yeah, there was one thing to come, and I cannot pronounce his name, so that's where I was leading. I can pronounce Jason, but I can't pronounce his surname.
Shire,
I think
I'm not sure.
Shire. Yes, I think it's along that. That piece is coming, and that is going to make that.
I'm not looking forward to reading that one.
Yes,
me too.
Yeah, that one is going to be a complete hit job on Stadia. And that could be one of the killer blows towards the whole platform. This, again, is not shocking news. A lot of people were expecting this. But for me, it's just reinforcing my idea that Stadia isn't actually here to compete. And that is down to Google and not Stadia. I think we need to be clear, 100% clear on this. This is a business decision, by the looks of things, by Google, not Stadia. And believe it or not, you're going to laugh when I say this. Phil Harrison may be the head of Stadia, but he's middle management in the whole of Google. And that may sound a really weird concept. When he's going to ask for money, he's low on the totem pole there. And when you go to Amazon, you go to Sony, you go to Microsoft, when they ask for money, they're going to get it. Stadia just doesn't appear to be in that position, and it is really unfortunate. So again, this news ain't great. There is going to be more to come, and I think people should be prepared for that. So yeah, distro, that is 100% right. Google is a technology company. We'll go back to one of my old school ones as well. Stadia feels like Google and Stadia are more in love with the tech rather than the games. And that is my old one as well, where they know they've got the killer product, or was the killer product. I think the other ones are catching up if they can fix bits and bobs over it. I've said it before. I think GeForce Now and some games looks a hell of a lot better than Stadia, but we won't go down that one. But it's going to be another interesting couple of weeks ahead for Stadia. And please, can we just be boring with Stadia? Every single week and nearly every single day, there's some sort of flipping drama.
Google's going to go with channels.
As much as it's been great tonight, we don't want to have to go live 3 times in one evening.
No. Speaking of which, we'll go for some plugging here. We are going live tomorrow about this time for the Nintendo Direct because we're expecting maybe some cloud announcements. Resident Evil Village. That's what I'm going for. That's my prediction.
Oh, mushroom!
On Friday, we've got 2 streams. We're doing a roundup of the news of the week.
Isn't that what we've done? Just be fake clips of these, you know.
I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a roundup of the news of the week, followed by our pro game predictions, which are just a bit of crack, and everybody should just come and laugh at how wrong we are with our pro predictions. And on Sunday, we're doing the Lunacast, and we're also doing our play along. We'll have a discussion, or we might be going to GeForce Now, or we're going to stick to Stadia. I think the
habit was to do 1 week of Stadia, 1 week of GeForce Now. What's happened is both times we said we go to GeForce Now, it coincided with news like this.
Yes. Yeah.
We do not control the news. We talk about it, and you guys watch, and we're very grateful for that. We do not control the news. Even Duncan does not control the news.
Yeah, so this week we're back on GeForce Now, but we're trying to make it as broad as possible, and we might have a coming plan for that as well, which what someone suggested in chat earlier today. And see if Kelly knows.
Yes, that's because I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we may look at the Division 2. There we go. We might have a look at that. Because that's all 3 cloud gaming platforms together. So we might go for the Division 2. So
it's Ubisoft, so I can do it on GeForce Now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we can do it on everything. So I would like to thank everybody for watching. And if you want to hear more talking about this, you can jump over and some chase on Gaming Advocate. I've just put in the link in the chat. And if you want to do that, I don't know. That's a bit personal, but if you go into the link there and say hello to Chase, and if you want to say we sent you over, that would be good as well. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for another live stream. See you later.